Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. For all the viewers out there and that is watching the video, I just want to show you this because there is a lot of requests for me to continue doing these free webinars at least for one more week. I think I will consider that, maybe even for 2 more weeks, because a lot of people are asking for it every day. So I might do it 1 or 2 more weeks free. But I want these unique viewers, 2,400 unique viewers since I started back doing them on YouTube, because we've been doing them every day for my group on YouTube. 2,400 people have viewed it. So if the 2,400 of you can at least share it to 1 more person within this week, if we can increase this up to about 4,000, I'll do 2 more weeks free. Let's do that. Let's make a deal, and you guys share it. All of you have to do is share it to 1 more person to view it, right? 1 more unique viewer, not view it yourself, because people have been viewing it 3 times sometimes. Well, I understand. You view a part, you click it off, you go do your work, you come back, you watch the other part. And that is why it shows us as more views. But unique viewers are the amount of unique people who watched it. This is more important. So you just have to give it to a new person to watch. There are millions of traders out there, so it shouldn't be a problem to find 1 more trader that you know that does not watch, haven't seen these videos to watch it, right? Or if you share it, it will automatically get to somebody. So like, share, and comment. Thank you very much. I'll consider doing 2 more weeks in February for you guys, because there's a lot of requests of people wanting it, because they're not catching up, and a lot of new people are seeing it as well. Not only the people who are subscribing to me, I don't know where all the subscribers are. I thought 23,000 subscribers, at least 20,000 should be watching it. Let's go. So let me start the webinar. These were trades that we were in, so I'm not going to start there. That's for my group. Let's come here. We're expecting dollar index to go down. Nothing has changed. It's still going down. So we might get a sell set up here today. Let me take this. Where is the delete? Oh, it's here. Sorry. Yeah, we might get a sell set up here today. This one didn't break. It went up, but you're making a flag here. And if this flag break, we're going to go down. Now we might finish this move here this week. Very likely. So the sell setup is a good one. On that same note, we know this is going sideways. If it is going sideways, you can look at it 2 ways. Is it sideways for downside, or is it going to be sideways for upside, depending on how this behaves? Is it come back here and come down back here, we're going up. If they stay within this range, if they stay without coming back to this top and stay right here, then we're likely going to go down. So if dollar index moves down, right, this could go up a little, but not enough to break the top. It could just go enough to break this top. And that means this will give us a sell setup. All right, let's see if that. We don't know how this is going to move. We're not very keen in trading this right now. It's in a consolidation. Let's wait. Gold, very similar. Smaller time frame, this is looking downside. We spoke about this yesterday, and we spoke about this. If you take them, you got break even, or you took very small profit. It's likely going to do that again today. But this is telling us about an up move. Not a big up move, because the more this comes to the bottom, the more this is going to just come here and go back down. Now, all of this could still be a bigger correction, or this could be the one that dropped. So we would look for you can look for a buy setup once this break. I don't think we want to sell this. You want this to actually break down here and then go back up and look for the buy setup for the upside. And then when it comes here, we will see what happens at that point. Do we get it downside, or does it continue to go? Right? If it continues to go, that is okay. We'll come with this piece. This one is too sharp to be all to be with, but we'll figure out what is it. I think it's going to be more complex than that. Right? But as the pieces develop, we will put them together to figure out the pattern. Right? Just in case you're new to this, to my method, wave analysis, it also includes pattern recognition. I think I'll change my name from wave trader recognizing wave patterns or pattern recognition or something like that, because too much wave traders, bogus people are out there, and people are confusing what I do with what they do, or what they're assuming they're doing correctly. Now, I'm not hitting at anybody. People always like to say you criticize people a lot. I'm not criticizing anybody. I'm talking about methods of analysis. I'm telling you about the method that I created, right? Based on Elliott wave and other stuff that I've learned. I've created the wave analysis method. It's absolutely different from Elliott wave. It's not the same. It's not the same way we look at it. We use the same names for patterns. We don't even count the way Elliott counts. So this is something unique we do. A lot of people are using the name wave trader now, on wave trading and wave whatever. You know, I saw one guy even made a video. Somebody sent it to me. Say, hey, isn't this your thing? Impulse correction. I was like, no, that doesn't belong to me. That belongs to Elliott wave. He starts about impulse correction. But the guy, for some reason, heard me say it. I stressed a lot on the impulse correction. He thought it was my thing. I said, no, that's Elliott wave, impulse correction. We use that because that's how the chart moves. But one person, you know, create the video and that specifically because and why the guy sent it? Because I always do this. Watch for this, and look for that. That's a unique thing I always do in all my videos from the very start. And the person was using that thing. So the guy somehow thought, it's not mine, it's Elliott. We were following Elliott wave in terms of impulse and correction. So that is how the chart moves. And that's the method we're using with a tweak to it. How we count and how much waves they make and how these patterns develop. The most important part of that is not the impulse. The impulse is what you will get. The most important part is the correction. What's happening in the correction, recognizing the patterns correctly. And if you can do that, you're good. You're going to be on the right side. Now, that is very difficult in itself. That's the biggest problem about it, about this whole method. Doing that part correctly. And that's what we do in our group. We try to do it the best as possible, and I think we're very good at it. I'm pretty sure we're very good at doing that. So if you want to join us, learn that method, join us. Send me a Skype message. So come back to what we're doing. Gold consolidating, we have an impulse and we have an impulse. We have two impulses that we're within the correction that we're dealing with that still need to complete patterns. So it's going to go up and down a few times more before it takes off any direction. Euro came down, short term. If you sold, you took profit. It looks like we might get an upside in Euro here. If this comes back a little and go, we might get an upside. And that could actually be a bigger up move because if we assume that this is a running flat, one of the things I spoke about yesterday, this could actually take off. We expect Euro to come and break this top before it turns. If you were looking at this video for the very first time you're seeing me, go watch the daily one I did a few days back on Sunday, I think on Monday. Watch the daily, the webinar on the daily charts, and you will see the long-term views that we did. Pong, like I said, if you want to buy Pong yesterday, that was a buy. Short term, once we got this consolidation, we're still looking for the long-term sell in Pong. So if you buy this, or if there's another buy setup here, if you buy that, you have to take profit very fast because the longer term picture, the bigger picture in this one is a running flat that we think this is going to create. All right, when you start to see this, you're thinking it's going to break down for a running flat and then probably go up or continue to go down. Will depend on what the bigger pattern will happen. In one case, just in one case, what if this is the corrective part of it? And this is just an impulse going up like that. We call that the A-B squeeze pattern, an A, a B, and where the impulse goes up like this. If that is the case, this is coming right back to the low. We wouldn't know that unless we negate this one. Let me use the yellow. Unless you negate this one first. So it comes here, turn, go back up. We're going to go with the running flat. It comes here, consolidate, drop. We will go with this ABC pattern. Why both of those patterns are valid? Because you're doing a combination of impulses and correction to see what are the most likely pattern you're going to have. And then sometimes you have 2 or 3 possible patterns with the next move that will come, that will confirm one out of those, right? So if that is a little difficult to understand, don't worry. In time, if you watch all my videos, you'll start to figure it out. Aussie. We're looking for a buy. Let me go back to the 1 hour. Sorry, we're looking for a buy. And I told you, watch the Aussie to come tag this low or very close to the low. And then we'll be looking for the upside. So if you remember, we buy. When it starts to come down, we said, okay, watch this, not a sell. Watch this, not a sell. It's coming down. But once they get somewhere here, we're looking for the upside. Well, I think we'll be looking for a buy today in the Aussie. There's a small expanding flat in there. So for my traders, you can even get a little more aggressive, but trading the expanding flat the way we trade it would be amazing. This, we're expecting this to go up more. New Zealand, I told you yesterday, this is a correction for upside. It's going. You can get a trade here today. We'll be looking for a trade for a buy setup on this. By the way, before you don't buy it now, you have to make sure that it fulfills your strategy, because this could still do this and maybe even retest the low. If it starts to do that, we see a sell setup, only then we will sell. Right now, it's not a sell. Right now, it's a buy setup, which means I'm expecting them to go up, back to the top, maybe break out of the top, maybe stop somewhere here and come back down. If this will become a bigger structure, this by itself is enough of a correction. But sometimes that correction becomes much long drawn out. So they go here, they come back there, go there, come back here. I think I showed you that in the Swiss, on the dollar Swiss, right? We're looking at something like that in the dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss, exactly. We're looking at this, right? Where it keeps going up and down. So if dollar index is going to go down, New Zealand is going up, Aussie is going up, Euro pound is going up. This should be going down, right? But there's a problem with this going down, and that is we have this big sideways move here that is not confirming a downside as yet. It's actually telling us this is likely going to go up. We were looking at this. It went up. We bought yesterday. We closed the trade for break even, and we re-enter again. We didn't re-enter. We put another entry order above the top because we figure out that once they break the top and it's not going, we're going to have a running flat, come here and go back up. Well, it came a little deeper. It's still possible they can go up, but I don't, because it came back that deep, there's a high probability that we're not going out of the structure now. We can stay in this sideways move for a longer period of time, making a more complex pattern. So although everything will be either going up or down, I think this would stay sideways. So if you're going to trade it, you'll have to be careful that it might not move anywhere very far. I wouldn't be surprised if they drop a little more, go back up again. I'm not in a straight line, but go back up again, come back, and then go. We might end up with a much, much, much bigger, longer drawn out pattern in here than we have right now. Let's wait and see, because there is no sign of this dropping. I don't see, when you see that, it's likely upside. But if the dollar index is going to fall and everything is going to move, and this cannot, it's hard for this to go up if dollar index is falling, right? So it's a dollar movement. It's likely it will have to go down with the dollar index, or it will have to stay sideways. So we'll see which one happens. Yen, this will absolutely go up. It's just a matter of when this correction finishes. We've got this one. So now we're looking at the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There's a high probability of this coming back here and then going, right? So we bought this. We closed it right here. I explained that yesterday to you. We either close it, or if you were still in, wait for the up move and close it, because the likelihood they're going to go down now, right? So it came down a little, and we're consolidating here. This consolidation is a sell setup, at least to break this low. And once it breaks that low, you would have to move your stop very tight, because they can go right back up. And it can break out. So would this stay in this consolidation? Both of this one and this Swiss has a very similar pattern, where they have the impulse up and they're making very big consolidation right to the top here. So that consolidation would have to be for an up move. So if we think dollar index is going to go now to break the low, then there is a possibility we'll have a problem here, right? It might not go, but if it stays sideways up and down, that is possible. The dollar index falls, that's just dollar weakness. It doesn't mean that the yen has to get stronger. The yen could still lose some value, staying sideways, not as much as the dollar, but staying sideways. Whereas something could gain value, because yesterday there was only one currency that actually gained quite a lot of value, and that is this one. This was the only one that moved that much yesterday. I think all the rest of them moved, but not that much. So they don't move equally against the dollar every time the dollar moves. It depends on the strength of each individual currency at the moment. Sometimes you see the dollar index falls and the yen falls, and the yen goes up, sorry. So yen just happens to be getting weaker than the dollar at that moment. So don't believe that if dollar is moving, that means everything will have to equally. Sometimes, most times they do, but sometimes one or two currency couldn't, stay sideways, which means they're regulating their strength relative to that, right? Pound moved a lot. Let's see. Yeah, pound move. Well, that's not quite a lot. I don't think it's that much like this one, because this move we could measure it, but I think maybe similar. This one moved out. This moved about 7 to 9. Let's see how much did the pound move. Probably have about the same thing. Same pattern. Oh, pound even move more, 128. Just the pattern different. Yes, the pound move, that will move. I don't think this didn't move a lot. It stays within the consolidation. This didn't move a lot. We're still in the consolidation. So maybe one or two more you'll find it moved yesterday. I think even the rubles moved a little. So you'll have to check which one moved. So watch them, each one, and each one individually you can trade. So watch this here. We're going to look for this. Maybe this is the only one that goes today to the downside. So let's keep an eye on it. This is a good sell setup if it happens today. CAD didn't move quite a lot. If you're looking at the daily CAD, it's still within the correction. That was yesterday's daily candle. Didn't go anywhere. It just stays right there. Put back on the 1 hour. You can see this. Looks upside. This didn't go here and turn, but it went a little lower. That could still bring you up back to the top. So I still think we're looking for a buy in the CAD. And we might even get the buy earlier if we get a flag in here. If we get a flag in here, we could take this buy earlier back to the top. So let's see which one it gives us. Yen is looking downside. Why is this moving like that? Okay. That's strange. Is that supposed that didn't happen earlier? Why is it moving? Okay, something I clicked or something I need to click. Charts are moving back here. Normally they will stay where I put them. Okay, let's see. Okay, don't worry with that. We'll come to that later. So Aussies, why are the charts moving? Did I click something that keeps it moving? Any one of you guys, my traders, have any idea why it's moving, where I need to click? That never happened before.
I think if you just refresh the page, it might be okay.
Let's see. Okay, thank you. But that's strange because that never happened. Yep. So Swiss, yen, we finished that already. Let's go back to CAD. CAD, we're looking for a buy. I think we might get an earlier buy, guys. As soon as we close the room, we might get a buy in the trading room. Aussie, Swiss, upside. These are all upside. All right, this we might even look at this a possible buy here and then out the breakout because this, even if they come here and come back, is going to break out. So we will see. We will try to get into every buy setup in this one. I think the same for the Aussie yen. They're going sideways, big sideways move. Same for Aussie CAD, big sideways move. Look for buy setup. This one is going very slow, so you're likely not going to get a breakout. Now it came up as we should, but I don't think you're going to get a breakout now. I think there's a chance you're going to get one more downside here. Right? It's coming up to this level. Somewhere from here, you could get one more downside because this is going up really, really, really slow. So expect that you could get another drop here and then the upside. Let's see. Aussie, New Zealand, wait for it. We might get a sell setup. They were small sell setup, but you want the bigger one. You want that, and then we can go for the next impulse to the downside. Euros. Okay, so this dropped a little. Take this off. That went up. We didn't break the top. So let's see. No, we didn't break the top. That means we'll probably stay in this consolidation for a while. If you don't break the top and they come down, and this is likely can come down back here, they're still going to go back up. So we'll still be in a bigger consolidation here. So a little more downside, and then we're looking for buy setups. We're still in the consolidation zone, and it's not going out right now. You're in New Zealand, downside. That broke, this broke. If this break, sell. All right, you're getting a sell setup. EuroCAD. Look for the buy setup. We definitely want this buy setup. Now it's completed the pattern we were looking for. So yesterday we saw this, and I said let it go up, come back down, give us this trade. We're looking for that trade up. So now we can buy this here today inside of that. I think this is the second CAD one we're getting a trade in. I think it was Aussie CAD, and we're getting a possible trade here. If we get a flag here in the Euro CAD, we'll go with it. Watch the dollar CAD to the upside. So we have Aussie CAD looking up, we have Euro CAD looking up, and this one should be an impulse to the upside. And we have the dollar CAD looking like a buy setup. So CAD movement today could be big. Keep an eye on that. Euro Swiss. Okay. It's not going to go anywhere. It's just going to be a running flat for upside. So this will eventually come down. But then we're going to go up because this would just become a running flat. So we're not looking for sells on that. We weren't looking for anything in it in the first place. Euro Yen. We're still in the sideways, and this starting to look like it could come back here. Maybe we're going to have something like this. So downside a little, don't trade it. I don't think the upside is even a trade. It's still a consolidation, just stay out. Euro Pound, this one breakout didn't go anywhere. We're coming back to the low. Let's see. It's consolidating at the low, which is not a good idea for us. Here's what we can do. If this pulls back to the top, if it comes here and pull back like this, then we're going to have another sell setup. Short term, because the pattern still is not convincingly going down as an impulse, right? It's not making an impulse to the downside. We're still in the sideways move. And even though this one is coming down, I don't see this and this is an impulsive move to the downside. I still think that we're in some kind of a corrective structure there that will come back here before they go. So even though it's going down a little more, the trade in the downside is short term. So if you get a setup and it goes down some more, treat it as a short-term trade. Pounds, we're still going up, but we're not going anywhere. They're just moving up slowly. You're getting a channel like this now forming here. And every time they form a channel like that, it breaks down. So this at some point in time will break down. If it keeps doing that, we will sort for a number of running flats in the pattern and go back up. But at some point, that whole thing breaks down to the bottom. Watch it as it comes closer to this top. Keep an eye on this pattern as it comes closer to this top here. Right? When this crawls up a little more here, comes to this top, the chances are we're going to break. The higher it goes, the higher, the better this trade to the downside becomes. So we will be looking for the sell setup and that on the 1 hour. The buy setups don't go anywhere. If you buy it, they come right back down. So if you bought this, it came back down and it came back down, you close that trade for break even. It didn't go anywhere. If you're going to buy here, they'll just tag you, come back here. And if they keep doing this, you're going to get break even trades. Well, if you're not closing them for break even, then you're taking a risk, that it could drop and take you out. So the best thing is to wait for the sell setup. Pound New Zealand, if you got the sell, you close it. Remember what I said. I still don't like this as the impulse. That is most likely the correction. So we want this up and we're getting this up. That is perfect. We're looking for this trade, right? If this becomes the running flat we're looking for, then this trade becomes very good. And it looks like that will be the running flat. So what we can do is two ways we're going to trade this. One is we'll wait for a break of this and a setup to trade. A break of this and a setup to trade, which is give us an impulse and a flag, an impulse and a flag, and we'll sell. Or if we get a better entry, I don't think we'll get a better entry in that because this is still going up and we don't know how high. It's unlikely it's going to be an expanding flat, but it could be an expanding flat. So to avoid getting that, or you could put an entry order. If you're not going to get if it's going to drop in one move, then you could put an entry order here to sell, right? That's something how we would do. That's how we would trade it, right? We need to put an entry order if we think it's going to go really fast, or we'll wait for a setup to sell. Punkat, still going up, and I still think this has a cat in it. Remember, all the cat trades are looking upside. I still think this one is going to get here today. We need this to go up and break that up. Only after that, we will start to look for the downside. So this might happen today if the CAD moves. Pong Yen is going up a little more. And every time this goes up a little more, we're looking for the sell setup. Now we'll have to be careful because if it drops here, there's a very good chance we have a big running flat and one more up. Which means we're not going higher, right? This is the high, this is the high, this is the high, this is the high. It's not like they're going away anyway, right? So if you're getting short-term trades to break the top every time, just take the trade because every time they break the top, every time we break the top, we come back. So there's a good chance this will come back down. If we get a setup like this here, we'll sell. There's a very, very good chance that this could become a running flat and up there, and then come back down. So you might even get a better buy here too. So let's see if we get the sell. If we get the sell, that's a good thing. We take the sell and then we go for the buy. I like this sell because one of the sells could break very much to the downside. Pancad broke out. Yesterday, we expect them to break out of this one because we were looking at this pattern in here and said we needed to go up. It's actually breaking this. So if that's the case, then we'll have to go back and look at where is the bigger correction, because I thought all of this would be part of the correction. If that's not the case, then this is all the correction. And this is a 1, 2, 3 going up of its own within this structure. Or we're making a running flat. And by that, I mean this is 1, this is 2, and we're going to come back here for a 3-wave structure, which will give us 3. And then go. So that is a known pattern, the running flat I showed you there just now. The other one is that, well, this was all the correction. That's an impulse, a very deep pullback. We didn't break the low, and we're going up. In any case, it doesn't matter. We were expecting this to go up, not breaking this one, but breaking this one. So if we get a sell set up today, we have a lot of divergence. So if we get a sell set up today, we will take the sell, because regardless of which of the two structures we're looking at, this is either going to come back here or it's going to come back like this and make a new high. So what is the bigger picture telling us? We have 1, 2, 3. We have 1, 2. We're trying to come here. So I don't think we're going to get to the bottom here as yet. This could either go back all the way there, or it could drop, make another 3 here, and then go there. I don't like this deep pullback in that impulse, but that happens sometimes. It's a very deep pullback, so I thought we were still in the flat, and that means we're still in the correction. That means it should come back. It could still be the correction. It's too deep to be part of the, well, not too deep to be a bit rare that you see the deep correction in the impulse itself. So there's a good chance we come back here, then go break that top, because we're going to break that top, right? It is going to break that top within this structure. So the question is whether they come back first and then go, or whether they go from here. Let's see if we get buy setups. If you took the buy yesterday, you're in a good trade. And this has a cat in it, so they might just go take off and break the top there. If you find a buy setup, we can take it. There is no buy setup right now, but if it consolidates at any point, that will be your buy setup. New Zealand yen, you have another buy here. At least to come this level and then see whether they take off or they come back down for one more. Right? Again, this could be all the correction, or that could be a part of the bigger correction. So which is it? We don't know. We'll see. There was no sell setup here yesterday. It's just a bigger flat. Turns out we might be looking at this running flat rather than the smaller one. We'll be looking at this as the running flat with a correction in the middle there. So you've got a 1, 2, 3 and a 1, 2, 3. This is likely going to go one more up. Maybe one more up. I don't think it will take off. There's a very, very high probability of them coming back down here and then go, making a bigger correction like this. Right? The more they correct in this move here, the higher that probability becomes. New Zealand Swiss broke out, went up, it's coming down back. We didn't break the top. So if this comes here and make a flag, we'll sell that back to the low. If they consolidate and break out, you can buy. This is not the best buy. Buy another New Zealand trade, not this one. Right? If it's a Swiss, buy the Swiss dollar, not this one. New Zealand CAD. This is still going up, and it probably will continue to. More so, it has a CAD in it, so this could take off. Right? This is going up, very small, very slow, but it could take off at any point. CAD yen. We're looking for the sell. So if CAD takes off, we'll probably get the trade. We don't have a setup as yet. There is no setup. There's a probability of them retesting the top first before they go. But if we get the sell setup today, we'll take the trade. There is no sell setup, but the bigger picture is downside. CAD Swiss. Oh, you do have a sell setup yesterday. We're looking for it. And I said, if they go back, you get a trade. And this would be a perfect trade to the downside. Considering CAD looks upside, this is a good one for a sell. Where you expect this to go? Well, let me show you where you expect. First, you expect it to come back to the low. You get that trade come back here and then probably break out. How fast it's going to move? Well, that's a good question. That's something you'll figure out once you're in the trade. So let's see if we get this set up for a sell. You can go for the trade. Breaks, you're looking for this low, and then you're looking for much lower. Swiss yen, stay out of it. It's sideways for upside, but stay out of it. This is not going anywhere as yet, and I still think we expect this to go back up a little more, at least back to this level. But let's see. It's not going anywhere. You don't have any sell setup. You don't have any buy setup in it. Oil, they're still consolidating here, and if they stay within this consolidation slowly like this, going up and do this, then we will drop. At least once more, you're going to get this drop, and from then we will decide whether we're making a much more complex pattern here, like a 1, 2, 3 in here, and a 1, 2, 3 here, which means you're going to get a 1, a 2, and a 3 before you go. So all we're doing is making a much more bigger corrective structure. UK oil is pretty much doing the same thing. We're going up. And you can see this one going up really slow, so it's going to probably drop here. And from this point, we'll see whether they break out of this structure lower before they go, or they just stop here, go back up, and then come down. It looks like a big sideways move right now. We don't have any, it's not moving to the upside, so there's no buy setup. And there is a sell setup though. You can look for a sell setup on the break of this. Natural gas, still upside. So if you have your second entry, you're still in the trade. And if you took profit, look for next entry, get in. You should be in it already, right? I would be very careful of the buy here now. Wait until they pull back and then look for the buy. Wait for this to complete itself. Then look for the buy. You're starting. Okay, we'll assume this is making a bigger correction. You can look for buy setup. We already broke the low here. All right, so this could be a buy setup back to the top here and maybe even break out. We can make an assumption that that's all the correction. S&P 500, you have a small pullback here. That should be a trade to the upside. Next. Yep. You're getting an entry here if you didn't get the entry from there, which would have been a little difficult. So if this breaks out now, you're in the trade. If they come back low, well, then it becomes a much more complex pattern, but it's just still in the correction. This is a good one. Look for the buy setup. Nifty. Okay, so Nifty is coming much deeper, but it's not, there was probably, no, it's not a sell as yet. Wait for this to give you a flag. Sorry. 1 second. This could go back up because we see every time they do that, you could always find a pattern here for upside, but if they consolidate, that's the sell setup. You want it to start giving you a daily, 1 hourly, an hourly consolidation here. And if you get the hourly consolidation, see this one didn't give the consolidation. So if you get it here, then it's a sell. Don't try to sell it without the consolidation. What if you're trying to sell it? They'll tag you and go straight back up. Okay, Tesla is making a running flat. I think this would come back. There's a good chance this would come back here first and then go. We're looking at this possibility. Then upside. Come back a little. There was a pullback here, but I don't think that is enough. That doesn't seem like enough of it. It's upside, but you're in the correction right now. We want this to come back. I'm going to leave these arrows here because I already told you guys that we'll follow this for the rest of the week and see. We were expecting it to come back down, complete one pattern, go back up, complete another pattern, come back, complete another pattern, and then go back. It's a bigger correction for upside. This is a big sideways move for upside. Let's see if we can find one of that for you in the chart. We have similar, but not the same. No, this might be the closest one. Something like this might be the closest to what we're looking at, but not even the same thing. Most of them are just running flats or expanding flats. Here is a nice running flat. Perfect. We're in another one. You can see, right? It's just a consolidation for upside, but I still think there are more waves in that consolidation to complete it. SLR, okay, it's going down already. It will probably pull back one more. This is going to pull back to about this level and then drop. You'll probably get a running flat here. Look for the sell setup. This is going up, so you will wait for it to come here and then look for the sell. So you can buy it actually to the upside. I said yesterday you can buy this to the upside, so it's still a buy. And this one is going sideways now. Watch it to come back here. And then look for upside. This is going to be one big running flat. So look for upside. One big regular flat with a running flat in the middle. Put it that way. Reliance, bingo, it's coming back down, right? So remember this, it's coming back down. By the way, somebody had sent me a chart once with Reliance and another one, remember? And I think the person sent me a follow-up chart to showing that. And he did say, well, there was no sharp move there, so he's waiting to see what this is going to do. You see, it's not the same pattern. Like I said, if we don't see that sharp move, this part only the two of us will understand. I told him if we don't see the sharp move in the past, which is this sharp move here, then the likelihood we're consolidating. And I think this one is correct. Because he was telling me he thinks this one is going to go up based on another chart that he had. But another chart had a slightly different pattern, which I showed him. And I said, unless you can find that same pattern using this impulse here, which is a big running flat in the past, finding a sharp one there. I didn't think he found it, because he did reply me and said, I don't think he found it. So you learned something about pattern, right? It comes up here, and instead of continuing to go, it just comes right back down, and it will break the low. And then it is likely going to go back up, because I still think it's a big correction for more upside. We can check that at the daily. We'll probably check that later for you guys. Bitcoin, it's coming down, not as aggressive as we would like to see. This one went back here. This one yesterday, I told you this flat is going to probably come down a little. I still think we might break the low first before we go back up, because I'll be looking at this as the, I'll be looking for something like this to complete the running flat. So we want to see this break the low first. We want to see this come back here and break the low, and then start that up move to complete this flat. Let's see how it behaves. Right now, that's the pattern we're looking for. Unless something else change, there's a sell setup in it today. XRP, we're expecting this to go back up. It still hasn't gone. It's still there, but I still think this should come back up at least to this top and then the downside. So let's wait and see if it goes. It really looks like it should go. This looks like we're going to get that trade. So let's wait and see. So there's a setup forming right now on it. We didn't break this low. So if they go up from here, that would be a buy setup. But I don't think you should buy it, because my traders were telling me that the spreads are too huge on the platform. So this small trade is useless. Let this pattern finish itself, come back lower, because once it's finished, it's going to come back lower. Once this come back here and break that top, we could still drop, right? We're still within these flats here. Right? We could still drop, or we might just go all the way to this top and then come down. So we'll have to see which one of those two patterns it gives you. ETH, I corrected this running flat yesterday, and we're looking for a sell setup here today. If this consolidate here, we will look for a sell setup. Right? So watch that. And LTC. Okay, let's see this one. You'll probably get it back to this level, and then we will go back up, because I think this is just making a B wave correction. Within the whole structure, you'll make a much deeper correction. It may or may not break that low, depending on how we would look at the pattern in general. We were expecting this to go down, break this low, and then go back up. That's not happening, which means you're making something more complex. The B wave is becoming more complex. It's not the C wave as yet. Oh, that's about it. There's a sell setup here, by the way. So that's about it in this one. I think we've managed to finish in 48 minutes, which is good. Remember, once again, I would likely extend this for you guys in 2 weeks, but please help me share the videos. It's quite easy. You watch it to the end, and then you share it somewhere. if you're in any social media, and I think every single human being on earth is probably on some social media, right? So you can share it anywhere. You can copy the link and share it in groups if it's allowed to do that. If you're in a group of traders where it's allowed to do that, copy and share it there, right? Maybe somebody will find it interesting. So thank you very much. Thank you for being here. I'll stop the recording and I'll stop the live on Facebook. And my traders stay in there. We're going to go to the trading room. We're in the trading room.